She appeared out of nowhere and said there was another child inside. She appeared in the middle of BR40 like a ghost, barefoot, bleeding, her eyes wide with terror. And when Edge braked his motorcycle inches from her, the girl said only one thing: "My sister's still there." But what Edge didn't know at that moment was that going back to that place meant entering the only address that even the police avoided. Because what was trapped in that abandoned warehouse wasn't just a child. It was something Edge swore he'd never face again. And now he'd have to decide in seconds, turn his back, or enter hell once more. If you're watching this right now, leave a comment telling me where you're from, and subscribe to the channel, because what happens from here on out, nobody forgets, I promise. Edge Malone didn't usually take the BR40 after 10 o'clock at night. Not because I was afraid, but because that road had a reputation for swallowing people. Truck drivers would disappear. Cars would turn up overturned without explanation, and nobody ever saw anything. But that night, he was returning from Tulsa, alone, tired, his mind still preoccupied with the club meeting. They had just closed a serious case, a child rescued from a basement in Oklahoma City, 3 weeks of investigation, 4 bikers injured, one of the attackers dead. Edge could still smell blood on his hands. The road was empty, dark, only the roar of the Harley and the wind cutting through his helmet. He didn't even see the girl, he only felt it. A figure, small, in the middle of the track. Edge slammed on the brakes so hard that the rear wheels skidded on the asphalt. The motorcycle locked up. The tire smoked. And when he took off his helmet, his heart pounding in his chest, he saw her. A girl, maybe 10 years old, barefoot, wearing a torn dress, soiled with dirt and blood. Her hair plastered to her face, her eyes wide open, and she wasn't moving. I just kept looking at him. Jesus Christ. Edge got off the motorcycle, still holding the handlebars. "What are you doing here, girl?" She didn't answer. He only took 1 step back. Hey, calm down." He raised his hands. "I'm not going to hurt you. Are you hurt?" That's when she opened her mouth, and the voice that came out was hoarse, broken. "My sister is still there." Edge felt a shiver run down his spine. Where is she?" The girl pointed behind her, toward the side of the road, into the darkness. In the shed. Edge knew that place. Everyone knew him. The old meat processing shed, 2 kilometers into the woods, abandoned for 15 years, partially burned, surrounded by urban legends, drug dealers, rituals, bodies. The police never went in there, and now this girl was saying that there was someone trapped inside. "How old is your sister?" 6. Edge closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. "Is someone with her?" The girl shook her head. Slowly. "Yes, she does. And he won't let her leave." Edge felt his stomach churn. He knew what that meant. I knew what happened in places like that. And he knew that if he turned his back now, that 6-year-old child would never leave there alive. But he also knew what entering that warehouse could cost. The girl took another step, and this time she held out her hand. "Please." Edge looked at her hand, small, trembling, and then he looked at the empty road behind him. I could leave, call the police, let them handle it. But he knew they weren't going. Not in time. He got on the motorcycle. He looked at the girl. Rooms. She went up without hesitation, and as Edge restarted the engine, a single question hammered in his head. What on earth was he going to find in there? The girl clung to his waist as if he were the last living thing in the world. Edge felt her hands tremble. He felt her thin, bony body, too frail for her apparent age. He veered off the main road and onto the dirt track. The motorcycle rattled. Branches hit the rearview mirror. Darkness swallowed the headlights. "What's your name?" Edge asked without looking back. Silence, only the roar of the engine. Everything's fine. You don't need to talk. She squeezed harder. Lily. Lily. Edge repeated. And your sister. Sophie. Edge swallowed hard. 2 names. 2 children. 2 lives he didn't even know existed 10 minutes ago. And now he was headed straight for the hole. The path opened up. And there it was. The shed. A giant structure of rusted metal. Roof, partially. Collapsed. Windows broken. Walls covered in graffiti and moss. There was no light. There was no sound. Only the wind beating against the loose sheets. Edge turned off the motorcycle about 50 meters away. Total silence. Lily climbed down slowly. She stood beside him, looking ahead. Is he there? Edge asked. She nodded. Where exactly? Way back there, where the metal door is. Edge knew the layout of the place. He had grown up in Baxter, the nearest town. He had heard stories. He had seen old photos. That warehouse had been a slaughterhouse. In the 80s, it processed cattle, pigs, until it closed after an accident. Nobody ever knew what really happened, but after that, the place became legendary, and now he was going to go in there. Edge crouched down in front of Lily. He looked into her eyes. They were deep-set eyes, tired, but there was still something there. Hope. Lily, listen, I'm going inside, but you stay here. Understand? No matter what you hear, you're not going in. She shook her head. I'll go with you. No, you. She only trusts me. Lily's voice came out firm, hard. If you go in alone, she'll scream and he'll hurt her. Edge froze, because he knew she was right. Traumatized children don't trust strangers, especially men. He sighed. Okay, but you'll be following me around, all the time. Lily agreed. Edge pulled the gun from his waistband, a Glock 19. He checked the magazine. Full. They started walking. The ground was packed earth, covered in trash, broken glass and pieces of metal. Edge walked slowly, silently. Lily followed behind, barefoot, without making a sound. The entrance to the warehouse was open, or rather, destroyed. The door had been ripped off years ago. Edge entered. The smell hit me immediately. Rot, mold, urine, something sweet and metallic. Blood. He swallowed his disgust and continued. Inside it was worse than it looked. Fallen beams, rusty machinery, hooks hanging from the ceiling, dark stains on the walls, and deep down, a metal door, locked. Edge moved closer. He pressed his ear against it. Silence. After, a muffled cry. Child. Edge looked at Lily. She was trembling again, but he pointed to the door. But Edge tested the door handle, locked from the outside. He took a step back. He prepared to kick, but before he could do anything, a voice echoed from the other side. Serious. Protracted. I knew someone was coming. Edge froze. The voice on the other side of the door was not what he expected. She wasn't aggressive. She wasn't desperate. It was calm. Too calm. Who's there? Edge asked, keeping his gun pointed at the door. Silence. Then the voice again. Are you a police officer? No. So, what do you want? The child. A low laugh. No humor. Which one? Edge felt his blood boil. Lily tugged at the hem of his jacket. She whispered, He's lying. Sophie is the only one there. Edge didn't take his eyes off the door. Open that door, now. Or what? You're going to shoot? Here, in this shed? The voice laughed again. You don't even know how many children have passed through here, biker. Edge froze, because he recognized that tone. I had heard of it before, 3 years ago, in a basement in Little Rock. A man speaking exactly like this, calm, confident. While keeping 2 girls chained up, Edge had broken his arm, and almost killed him. Almost, but this time he wasn't going to stop. He took a step back. He prepared to kick, and with all the strength he had, he hit the door. The metal groaned, but it didn't open. Another shot. The lock cracked. Third shot. The door exploded inward. Edge entered with the gun in front of him, and what he saw made his stomach churn. The room was small, dark. Only one lamp hung from the ceiling, swaying. The floor was dirty concrete, and in the corner, a girl, small, blonde, dirty, with eyes wide with terror. Sophie. She was sitting on the floor, hugging her knees, no shoes, no coat, trembling, and next to her, a man. Tall. Thin, unshaven, greasy hair, wearing an old jacket and ripped jeans. He was not armed, but she was smiling. "You must be the hero," he said. Edge pointed the gun at his head. "Stay away from the girl." The man slowly raised his hands, but he didn't move. "Or what? Are you going to shoot her in front of her? Let her see blood. Let her have nightmares for the rest of her life." Edge clenched his teeth, because he was right. Shooting now would traumatize Sophie even more. But to leave that monster alive. "Edge." Lily's voice came from behind him, low, urgent. "Get her, now." Edge didn't take his eyes off the man. "Sophie, come here, darling." The girl didn't move. "Sophie." Lily entered the room slowly. "It's me. Lily, remember, I'm back, just like I promised." Sophie looked up, and for the first time Edge saw something change in her. Recognition. She stood up, trembling, and ran into Lily's arms. The two hugged, crying, and at that moment, Edge realized something. Lily was more than just a sister. She was the only thing keeping Sophie alive. The man took a step forward. Edge shot at the ground, an inch from his foot. Next is in the head. The man stopped, but he kept smiling. "You think this ends here, biker? You think you can just arrest me and that's it?" He tilted his head. "You don't even know who I am. I don't need to know. You should." The man took another step. "Because I'm not the only one." Edge felt a chill. "What are you talking about?" The man pointed at Sophie. "She's not the first, and she won't be the last." Edge pulled the trigger, but before he could shoot, Lily screamed, "No." Edge stopped. He looked at her. Lily was holding Sophie, but looking at the man, and in her eyes, it wasn't fear, it was hate. "He's my father," Lily said. And Edge's world crumbled. The silence that fell over the warehouse was heavy, suffocating. Edge looked at Lily, then at the man, then at Sophie, and he began to put the pieces back together. The two girls had not been kidnapped. They had run away from his own father. The father, shrugged. "Surprised, biker?" He crossed his arms. "Did you think I was just some stranger, some random monster?" Edge kept the gun pointed. "You are a monster. I'm their father." His voice hardened. "And they're coming home. With me." "That's not going to happen." The man smiled, but this time, there was no humor, only venom. "Do you think the law is on your side? Do you think anyone will believe two crazy kids and a biker gang member?" He pointed at Edge. "I know who you are. Edge Malone, Hell's Riders, criminal record, assault, illegal possession." Edge froze. How did he know? "I know people, bikers. I know police officers, judges, social workers." The father took another step. "And they'll all say the same thing, that I'm a hard-working father trying to get my daughters back from a dangerous criminal." Edge felt the anger rising because he knew the man was right. The system protected people like him. Fathers, men with jobs, with a fixed address, with smooth talk, and it destroyed people like Edge, motorcyclists, ex-convicts, people who didn't fit in. Lily hugged Sophie tighter. "I'm not coming back." She looked at her father. "Never again." The father tilted his head. "Lily, you know what happens if you don't come back." His voice changed. It got lower, colder. And Edge saw Lily tremble. "Your mother needs you." Lily closed her eyes. My mother is dead. The father smiled. No, she's just resting. Edge felt his stomach churn. What did you do to her? The father did not answer. She only looked at Lily, and Edge understood. The mother was alive, but imprisoned, a hostage, and the father was using that to control the girls. Where is she? Edge asked. At home, the father replied, waiting for her daughters to return. Edge tightened his grip on the weapon. You're bluffing. Hello? The father took a cell phone out of his pocket. He fiddled with the screen and turned to Edge. A photo. A woman. Thin, tied to a chair, eyes closed, mouth gagged, alive but barely. Lily let out a muffled groan. Edge felt bile rising in his throat. You have a choice, biker. The father put his cell phone away. Let me take the girls now, in peace, and their mother will be okay. Or you try to be a hero, and I'll call a friend of mine, and when I call, their mother will stop breathing. Edge looked at Lily. She was crying, silently, but he shook his head. No, he's not coming back. Lily. No. She wiped away her tears. She's already dead. We know, he's just using her. The father laughed. Clever. She was always the smartest. He took another step, and this time Edge didn't hesitate. He shot. The bullet hit the ground, inches from the father's foot. Next step, I'll get it right. The father stopped, but he did not back down. You don't have the courage. Try it. The two stared at each other, seconds that felt like hours. And then, the sound of mermaids, far away, but coming in their direction. The father smiled. I called the police before you arrived. I told them that an armed motorcyclist had broken into my property and kidnapped my daughters. Edge felt the ground disappear beneath him. Son of a bitch. They'll be here in 5 minutes, and when they are, you'll be arrested, and the girls are coming back with me. The father crossed his arms. Unless you run. Now. Lily grabbed Edge's arm. Don't let him take us, please. Edge looked at her, then for Dee. Sophie. Then to Dad. The sirens were getting closer. He had seconds to decide. Run away, and take the girls with you, become a fugitive, or stay, and lose everything. He put the gun away. He picked Sophie up in his arms. Lily, take it. They ran, and as they left the shed, Edge heard his father's laughter echoing behind them. You're just delaying the inevitable, biker. Edge sped down the dirt track with Sophie on the motorcycle's tank and Lily clinging to him from behind. The Harley skidded. Rocks flew, and the sirens grew louder with each passing second. He knew he had made the biggest mistake of his life, escaping from the police, with 2 children, without evidence, no witnesses, with nothing but the word of a 10-year-old girl. But he also knew that if he stopped now, the girls would go back to hell, and their mother would die. If she was still alive, then yes. Edge left the trail and returned to BR-40. He looked in the rearview mirror. He still didn't see any lights, but they were coming. He needed a plan, fast. He picked up his cell phone. He made a call, 3 taps. Speak, Edge. The hoarse voice of Tank, Vice President of the Hells Riders. I need help. What kind of help? The kind that involves the police, 2 children, and a son of a bitch who deserves to die. Silence on the other end. After, where are you? BR-40. Heading to Baxter. How much time do you have? Minutes. Maybe less. I'm going to get the club together. Meet us at the old warehouse. You know which one. Tank. Edge took a deep breath. This could go very wrong. That's enough. Tank hung up. Edge put the phone away. Sophie was trembling in the tank. Lily was gripping his waist tightly. Where are we going? Lily shouted over the wind. Safe place. Is there a safe place? Edge did not respond, because he didn't know. 10 minutes later, he arrived at the warehouse, an abandoned building on the outskirts of Baxter. used by the club for meetings, to store weapons, to hide. People. 3 motorcycles were already stopped in front. Tank, Wrench, E-Bones. The 3 of them were already waiting. Edge went downstairs. Lily and Sophie went downstairs too. Tank looked at the girls, then at Edge. Explain. Edge told all. The warehouse, the father, the mother as a hostage, the police. When he finished, Tank crossed his arms. You kidnapped 2 children. I saved it. That's not how the law will see it. I know. Tank looked at the girls again. You 2. Did your father beat you? Lily nodded. All day. Did he do worse? Lily closed her eyes. Yes. Tank sighed. Heavy. Wrench approached. And the mother? Is she alive? Lily shook her head. I don't know. He showed a picture, but I think he's lying. Where is the house? Bones asked. Cedar Road. Number 47. Tank looked at Edge. You know what that means, right? If we go there, if we raid his house without a warrant, without proof. I know. We become targets, the whole club. I know. Tank remained silent. Then he looked at the others. Wrench, Bones. Are you in? The 2 did not hesitate. Always. Tank looked at Edge. Okay, but we do it the right way. We go to the house. We check if the mother is alive. And if she is, we get her out of there. And the father? We'll deal with him later. Edge nodded. Lily tugged at his jacket again. Thanks. Edge bent down. He looked into her eyes. We haven't won yet, Lily. I know, she said, wiping away her tears. But for the first time, I feel like someone is on our side. Edge felt a tightening in his chest, because he knew what it was like to grow up alone. He had grown up like that, in foster homes, reformatories, prisons, until I find the club. And now he was going to make sure these girls had something different, even if it cost everything. Tank tapped him on the shoulder. Come on, we have half an hour before the police really start looking for you. The 4 bikers got on their motorcycles. Lily and Sophie stayed in the storage room, locked in, safe. And as they sped off towards Cedar Road, Edge knew that this night was going to end in one of 2 ways. Either they saved their mother, or they would all go to jail. Cedar Road number 47 was a small house, old peeling paint, dead garden, dirty windows. From the outside it looked abandoned, but Edge knew he wasn't, because the light in the room was on. Tank turned off his motorcycle 2 blocks away. The others did the same. They approached on foot, silently. Edge was in the front, Tank in the rear, Wrench and Bones on the flanks, combat formation. They arrived on the balcony. Edge tested the door, locked. Wrench bent down. He pulled out a set of lockpicks. 15 seconds later, the door opened. Silence. They went inside. The smell hit me immediately. Garbage, rotten food, urine, and something more. Blood. Edge pulled out his gun. The others did the same. The room was empty. The sofa was torn. The TV was broken. Empty bottles were on the floor. Kitchen, empty. Bathroom, empty. There was only one place left. The basement. The door was at the end of the hallway, locked with a padlock. Tank looked at Edge. Are you sure? Edge nodded. Wrench cut the padlock with pliers. The door creaked as it opened. Stairs leading down into the dark. Edge went down first. Each step creaked. The smell got worse. Down there, a dim lamp hanging from the ceiling, and in the corner, a woman tied to a chair, head hanging down, hair covering her face. Edge approached slowly. Madam? She didn't move. He touched her shoulder, cold, but not ice-cold. He carefully lifted her head. He moved her hair aside. She was alive. Bad, but alive. His eyes opened, slowly, empty, unfocused. Where are they? The voice came out weak. They're safe. Edge began cutting the ropes. Lily and Sophie, they're fine. The woman started to cry. He said, that if I screamed, he would kill them. He lied. Edge cut the last rope. You're free now. He helped her to her feet, but her legs couldn't hold her up. Tank got out. He picked her up in his arms. Let's get out of here. They went up, quickly, but when they arrived in the room, the front door was open, and he was there, the father, with a rifle, pointed at them. I warned you, biker, he said, cocking the gun. I told you you'd regret it. Edge raised his weapon. Turn that down, or what? You shoot first? In front of the mothers of your victims? Tank took a step forward. We are not your enemies. You broke into my house, you robbed my wife, you kidnapped my daughters. The father smiled. The police are already on their way, and when they arrive, you'll all go to jail. And I'm going to get my girls back. The mother groaned. No, don't leave him. Shut up, the father shouted. You have no say here. Edge clenched his teeth. She is your wife, not your property. She is whatever I want her to be. And that's when Edge realized he wasn't going to be able to arrest that man. Not legally, not without evidence, without witnesses, without anything. And even if I could, the system was going to release him. Because the system always released people like that. Edge lowered his weapon. The father smiled. Expert. But Edge wasn't giving up. He was calculating the distance, the angle, the rifle. He had a chance. Just one. He looked at Tank, and Tank understood. Because they were brothers, and brothers didn't need words. Tank threw the woman aside. Edge threw himself forward. The rifle fired. The shot hit the wall. Edge hit his father with his shoulder. They both fell. The rifle flew. Wrench caught it. Bones held his father down on the ground. Edge stood up. Panting, the father spat blood. You're going to pay for this. No. Edge bent down. You will. But before he could do anything, as mermaids, very close, Tank looked out the window. 3 vehicles, coming quickly. Edge looked at his mother. Can you walk? She nodded. Then come. They went out the back door. They ran into the yard. They jumped the fence. The motorcycles were 2 streets away. When they arrived, Edge heard the sound of brakes slamming, doors slamming, shouts. They had seconds. Tank put his mother on his motorcycle. Where to? Deposit. Edge climbed onto his, grabbed the girls, and disappear. And you? Edge looked back. The lights of the vehicles were already visible at the end of the street. I'll take care of it. Edge. What? Tank hesitated, but he obeyed. Wrench and Bones sped off. They disappeared into the darkness. Edge stayed alone. And when the first police car stopped in front of him, he raised his hands and he let them arrest him. Edge had been sitting in the cell for 3 hours when the door opened. A police officer entered. Young, impeccable uniform. You have a visitor. Edge frowned. Who? Your lawyer. Edge did not have a lawyer, but he got up anyway. The police officer led him to an interrogation room. Small, metal table. 2 chairs. And sitting on the other side, Crow, Presidente dos Hell's Riders, in his early 50s, grey beard, a scar across his face, and the coldest eyes Edge had ever seen. The police officer closed the door. Silence. Crow crossed his arms. You screwed everything up, Edge. I know. Trespassing, kidnapping, resisting arrest, assault on a civilian. Crow tilted his head. Do you have any idea how much of a mess you've made? Edge did not respond. Crow sighed. But I understand why. Edge looked up. He understands. I used to be you too. Crow leaned forward. Young, angry, wanting to save everyone, thinking the world was black and white. Isn't that right? No. Crow slammed his fist on the table. The world is gray, and the sooner you learn that, the better. Edge clenched his fists. Those girls needed help, and you helped. But in the wrong way. What was the right thing to do? To let them go back to their father? Crow remained silent. Because he had no answer. Because there was no answer. Are the girls safe? Edge asked. So? Tank took them and their mother somewhere, far away. Nobody will find them. Edge took a deep breath. Relieved. And the father? He's in the hospital, broken rib, but he'll live. Crow paused. And he's already filed a complaint. Against you, against the club, against all of us. Edge closed his eyes. How much time do I have? The judge will decide tomorrow morning. But Crow stood up. The club won't let you rot here. What are you going to do? Crow smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was dangerous. What we always do, protect our own. He knocked on the door. The policeman opened it. Crow saw you. But before leaving, he looked back. Edge, you did the right thing, just not the right way. And then he disappeared. Edge was alone again, but this time he wasn't afraid, because he knew the club was making moves, and when the Hell's Riders moved, Hell was coming along too. 3 hours later, Edge heard a noise outside. Screams, engines, sirens. He stood up. He leaned against the railing. The young policeman appeared running. Stay there. What's going on? Nothing that interests you. But Edge already knew. The club had arrived, and they weren't asking for permission. 15 minutes later, the cell door opened. Crow entered. Let's go. Like you. Fewer questions. More movement. Edge left. The hallway was empty. Too quiet. Where are the police officers? Busy. They left through the back door. There were 6 motorcycles. Waiting, Tank, Wrench, Bones, and 3 more members, all armed. Edge got on his motorcycle. Where to? Crow put on his helmet. Far away. We're going to disappear for a while, until things cool down, and the girls. They've already been taken away. Safe place. New identities, new life. Edge felt a tightening in his chest. Will I see them again? Crow looked at him, and for the first time, he didn't answer, because they both knew the answer. No. And as they sped down the empty road, Edge looked back to the city he was leaving, for the life he was losing because of the choice he made. And he didn't regret it. Not for a second. 3 weeks later, Edge was hiding out in a roadside motel in Arizona. Dirty room, musty smell, torn curtains. He wasn't sleeping, he wasn't eating properly, he just waited. I was expecting news. I was waiting for orders. I was expecting something. Crow had disappeared. Tank too. The club was fragmented, each one hiding in a different corner of the country. Edge picked up his cell phone. No messages. He threw it against the wall. There was a knock at the door. Edge picked up the gun. He approached slowly. Who is it? Silence. Another hit. He opened it. A woman, early 30s, short hair, leather jacket, tired eyes. Edge didn't know her, but she knew him. Edge Malone. Who's asking? My name is Sarah. I'm a social worker. She showed him some identification. May I come in? Edge hesitated. How did you find me? I have contacts. She entered without waiting for a response. I came to talk about Lily and Sophie. Edge's heart raced. Are they doing well? So, safe, with a new family. Edge took a deep breath. So why are you here? Sarah closed the door. She looked at him. Because their father ran away. Edge froze. What? He left the hospital a week ago and disappeared. Sarah crossed her arms. And now, he's looking for them. Edge felt his blood run cold. How was he supposed to know where they were? He has connections. Just like me. Sarah approached. And he's furious, Edge. He swore he'd find them, and when he does... She didn't need to finish. Edge knew what came next. Do you have any idea where he might be? No. But... Sarah took an envelope out of her pocket. He sent this to you. Edge opened a photo, Lily and Sophie, playing in a park, recent, and no towards a handwritten sentence. I always find what's mine. Edge crumpled the photo. Son of a bitch. He's going to kill them, Edge, and you know it. Edge looked at her. What do you want me to do? What did you do last time? Sarah turned toward the door. Save them, before it's too late. She left. Edge was left alone, holding the photo in hand. And there's only one certainty. He had to find his father, before the father found the girls. And this time, he wasn't going to let the guy live. Edge spent the next 5 days hunting. He called all his contacts. He investigated every lead, every rumor, and finally, it found the you. Father was hiding in a trailer park in Nevada, living under a false name. Edge got on the motorcycle and left. When he arrived, the trailer was dark, silent. Edge got out. He pulled out his gun. He climbed the steps. He pushed the door open. Empty, but there were signs. Clothes, food, full ashtray. He had been there. Recently, Edge turned everything upside down, looking for clues. And then, it found a map, marked an address. Idaho, the adoptive family's home. Edge felt his stomach churn. He grabbed the map. He ran to his motorcycle, but when he got outside, the father was waiting, with a gun, pointed at Edge's head. Hi, biker. Edge froze. You're persistent, I'll give you this. The father smiled, but not very clever. Where are they? Who, my daughters? The father tilted his head. In a safe place for now. Edge clenched his fists. If you touch them, what are you going to do? Kill me? The father laughed. You've already lost, Edge. You lost the moment you decided to. Be a hero. I saved them. You delayed the inevitable. The father cocked the gun. But now, it's over. Edge closed his eyes, and he waited for the shot. But he didn't come. Instead, a sound. Motorcycle engine. Several. The father looked back, and Edge took advantage. He lunged forward. He dropped the gun. He landed a punch. The father fell, and when Edge looked up, it saw tank, wrench, bones, Crow, the entire club. They had returned to finish this up. Once for all, Crow got off the motorcycle. He walked over to his fallen father. You made a mistake. The father spat out blood. Which? You messed with the wrong family. Crow made a sign. Bones pulled his father up. Wrench tied his hands. Edge approached. Where are they? The father smiled, but he didn't answer. Crow slapped him. He asked, where? They are. So. The father laughed. You'll never find it. Crow punched, hard. The father fell to his knees. Last chance. Silence. Crow pulled out a knife. So we do it the hard way. But before he could do anything, Edge's cell phone rang. Unknown number, he answered. Hello? A child's voice, trembling. Edge? His heart stopped. Lily, crying on the other side. He found us. Edge felt the world crumble. Where are you? I don't know. A house? In the middle of nowhere. There's a man here. He said he's a friend of my father's. Edge looked at his father, who was now smiling. Passed the phone to him. Noise. Movement. And then, a deep voice. Edge. Malone. Finally. Who are you? A friend. The voice laughed. And you have a choice. Bring the father, alone, or the girls die. Where? You'll receive the coordinates, sometime, by yourself, or they'll disappear. The call dropped. Edge looked at Crow. It's a trap. I know, but I will go. We're going. No. He said it to himself. And you think he'll keep his word? Crow crossed his arms. He'll kill you, and then kill them. Edge knew he was right, but he had no choice. So what do we do? Crow looked at the others. We'll go, but keep our distance. When you come in, we'll surround you, and that'll be the end of it." Edge nodded. 10 minutes later, the coordinates arrived. An abandoned farm, 2 hours away. They prepared themselves, weapons, ammunition, plan, and as Edge got on the motorcycle, he looked back. Pro Club, for my brothers, for the only family he ever had. And he whispered, "If I don't come back, finish this." Crow nodded. "It can leave." The farm was exactly as Edge had imagined. Isolated, old, surrounded by earth and darkness. He stopped the motorcycle 100 meters away. He got off. The father was tied to the back seat of Tank. Gagged. Edge let go of him. He pulled on the rope. "Let's go." They walked to the house. The door was open. Edge entered. Empty room, old furniture, smell of dust, and deep down, a man, tall, bald, tattoos on his neck, and next to him, Lily A. Sophie, tied up, crying. Edge raised his hands. "I brought him." The man smiled. "Good boy." He grabbed his father. He untied him. "Everything will be all right, brother." The father rubbed his wrists. "Thanks." He looked at Edge. "I warned you. You can't win." Edge ignored her. He looked at the girls. Lily, Sophie. "It's okay. I'll get you out of here." The man laughed. "Do you think so?" He pulled out a gun. He pointed to Edge. "You came alone, unarmed, thinking you were going to save everyone." He shook his head. "Pathetic." Edge didn't move, because he knew. Crow and the others were outside, waiting for the right moment. "You can shoot," Edge said. The man frowned. "What?" I said. "You can shoot. But when you do that," Edge smiled, "you're going to die." The man laughed. "You're bluffing." "Bowl." And that's when the window exploded. Crow entered shooting. Tank through the back door, wrench on the side, bones on the roof. The man turned around. He tried to shoot, but it was too late. Crow hit him in the shoulder. He fell. The father tried to run. Edge knocked him down. 3 seconds, it's all over. Edge ran towards the girls. He cut the ropes. Lily threw herself into his arms. "You came." "Always," Sophie cried. "I was scared." "That's no longer necessary." Crow approached. He looked at his father, at the fallen man. "What do we do with them?" Edge looked at the girls. Then for the 2 men, the police. Crow raised an eyebrow. "Serious?" "Seriously." Edge stood up. "They'll pay. The right way." Crow smiled. "You learned." "I learned." 6 months later, Edge was sitting in a diner in Montana. Cold coffee, half-eaten toast. The sun was rising on the other side of the window. He looked at his cell phone. A message from Sarah. A photo, Lily and Sophie, smiling, in a park, with a woman, their mother, and below, "They are fine, thank you." Edge closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. He would never see them again. I knew that. But they were alive, safe, happy, and that was enough. Crow went into the diner. He sat down across from him. "Ready?" "To go." Edge put the phone away. "Where to?" "Texas. We have a new case." "Child?" "It always is." Edge smiled. Sad, but true. Because he knew. The work never ended. I would always have another child, another monster, another fight. But this time, he wasn't going to fight alone. He owned the club. And the club had him. Crow left money on the table. "Let's go." Edge stood up. He looked out the window one last time, to the road, for life, because of the choice he made. And he whispered, "Stay safe." "Lily." He left. He got on the motorcycle, and he disappeared down the road, leaving only the echo. From the roar of the engine, and from the silent promise that I would always return when someone needed it. CTA final, powerful version. If you felt something watching this, if your heart tightened even for a second, leave a like now, not later, now. and subscribe to this channel because what comes next will emotionally destroy you in a way you'll never forget. This is not entertainment. It's real. It's raw. It's the truth nobody wants to see. And you need to be here when the next story breaks. The next video is on screen now. And I guarantee you, the first 10 seconds will paralyze you. You'll want to pause. You'll want to stop watching. But you won't succeed. Because what happens there should never have happened. Click before you forget. Because if you close that tab now, you'll be thinking about it all night. Go ahead, I know you want to.